So I just got a request for a chocolate cake, and I thought that instead of doing the ubiquitous layer cake, I would try and do my own twist on a Swedish tradition.
Well, this tort's a winner, Mallory. What was the name again?
Kladdkaka.
Let's begin by browning 100 grams of unsalted butter in a small butter pan over medium heat. Keep stirring and eventually you'll see the butter begin to foam quite a bit, followed by an accumulation of brown bits at the bottom. Take it off the heat and very carefully add 50 grams more of butter. Ow! Fuck! This step is going to cool the brown butter down to prevent it from burning, as well as preventing it from scrambling the eggs later on. The next thing we want to do is measure out 250 grams of white sugar, cracking in 2 eggs and whisk to combine. Pour in the butter and make sure you get all the brown bits as well. Get yourself 2 shots of espresso and thoroughly enjoy one of them. Ah, that's too hot. Once the second shot has cooled down, pour it into the mix. This isn't gonna really make it taste like coffee, however, it's gonna deepen and intensify the chocolate flavor. Weigh up 120 grams of flour, preferably something low protein as cake flour, and 50 grams of cocoa powder. Add in a heaping teaspoon of vanilla sugar and a pinch of salt before sifting it all in. Now, as always, we want to gently fold everything in and not overmix it, as to not develop any more gluten than is necessary. Get out a 25 centimeter cake tin and line it at the bottom with some parchment paper and it's gone. But don't you despair, grab yourself some butter and get to work. Generously coat the whole tin before pouring in your deliciously viscous batter. Evenly spread it around before giving it the old tappa and place it in a 175 degrees Celsius oven for 15 minutes. In the meantime, let's make our chocolate fudge glaze, which consists of 170 grams of white sugar, 200 milliliters of heavy cream, and 200 milliliters of light syrup. This is a Scandinavian specialty, so if you can't find it, use some corn syrup instead. I'll put a link in the description for other possible substitutes. Place everything on medium heat before breaking out 100 grams of cooking chocolate. Keep everything on medium heat, stirring constantly until it thickens sufficiently, which should take about 15 minutes. And look, the cake is done. Just leave it in the tin for now while we finish our glaze. To see if it's ready, pour some into some ice water. This way you'll see the consistency it will have once it cools down. And this looks just perfect. Fudgy and gooey, but not too hard either. Kill the heat and add in 100 grams of room temperatured unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon at a time. Optionally set some aside for garnish and pour everything else on top of the cake. And finally, we can put it in the fridge for 3 hours to cool down. Thanks to the magic of editing though, this is over pretty painlessly. Run a knife along the edge of the tin to loosen the cake, open it up and you're ready to serve. Garnish the plate with some leftover fudge if you so desire, and slice yourself off a piece. This is a highly decadent, beyond delicious piece of cake. The cake layer is dense and intensely rich with chocolate flavor, and the fudge layer perfectly complements this with the sweetness and the delicious gooey texture. So guys, this might ruin your figure, but I highly recommend that you go and try out this Kladdkaka. Cheers.
I'm sorry, that's a funny word.